Welcome to ProgrammingKT. In this tutorial, I am trying to explaining about one of the object-oriented principle called encapsulation. So, encapsulation is very easy comparing with the remaining object-oriented principles. That's why I am starting with easy one. So, let me explain about what is encapsulation and more that definition of encapsulation. So, encapsulation. So encapsulation is nothing but data members and member functions wrap in one entity. Binding of data members and member functions in one entity is nothing but encapsulation. So best example is class. So we can create data members is nothing but variables or someone will call attributes, and member functions are nothing but methods. We can call it as a encapsulation. So here I can write definition of encapsulation is data members, and member functions wrap in one entity. So data members and member functions wrap in one entity is nothing but encapsulation. So entity is nothing but real world, right? Yesterday, if you watched a previous video about object oriented principles introduction, I already explained about what is a class, what is a object, how we can create object. This kind of stuff I already explained. If you did not watch that video, watch that video. So data members and member functions wrap in one entity is nothing but encapsulation. So best example is class. Now let me try to take one example, then I will explain. So data members are nothing but, I already said, right, either it may be attributes, someone will call member, data members are attributes, variables, anything. So let me try to write an example. So I'm trying to consider employee class or object, employee class. For employee class, we can create number of objects. So employee class. So for that employee class, what are the data members? Variables. So I can say first employee name like string employee emp name. So this is the one data mem. I can say one variable or one attribute. Next one is double salary. Emp sal. So these are, depending on your requirement, you can create n number of attributes. N number of variables. In this video, here I am trying to construct two only. So anyway, when you are, if you are, when I'm practicing, I will explain more than two also. But in your case, if you want to create more than two also, you can try. So here, employee name and employee salary, these are the data members, and member functions are nothing but setters and getters, like not setters and getters, anyway, anything, other than setters and getters also we can wrap in one entity. Like, so here for setting employee name we can use set method. Void set employee name, emp name, string corresponding name we need to pass, right? Name we can pass here. And moreover that I want to assign here I only declared, right? I want to assign value. How I can access? By using this keyword. To access instance variable we can use this keyword emp name, and moreover that corresponding name here. So why we can use this here, if you know, let me try to explain about that. So why we can use, access by using this keyword. So if instance variable name and a local variable name is same, in that case to access instance variable name we can use this keyword. So here local variable name also same, employee name. emp name, and local variable name is emp name, instance variable name is emp name. So here confusion will occur, right? In that case, to access instance variable, we can use this dot emp name. Now this emp name refers to instance variable, and moreover that I am trying to assign whatever the value available inside emp name local variable. So that's why we can use this. And moreover that get method, this is the set employee name. Next one is get employee name. So employee name is a string, right? Return type is string. At the time of setting we can return, we are not returning, right? That's why I make it as void string get emp name. And parameter is not required, right? Employee mean straightforward, I will return employee name. When parameter is not required, return emp name. So for employee salary and employee salary also we can create setters and getters. Not only setters and getters, depending on your requirement, you can create anywhere any method also. So data members and member functions wrap in one entity is nothing but encapsulation. Data members are employee name and employee salary, employee ID, employee date of joining, employee date of birth, employee gender, employee role. These kind of stuff we can store. But here I'm stick with two. So these are the data, member functions. Set employee name, get employee name. Set employee salary, get employee salary. For that, update employee name, update employee salary. These kind of methods also we can create, no problem. So here if we can observe, data members are employee name and employee salary. Member functions are nothing but employee name and set employee name, get employee name. Wrapping in one entity, nothing but class. What is the class name? Employee. Class employee. In one entity. So I hope we got full clarity now. So data members, member functions wrap in one entity is called encapsulation. So along with this, I need to explain one more. One more concept means, so and in encapsulation, data members almost private data members. You can use data members as private. All data members are private, and member functions are always public. This is the one of the most important point you need to remember. Why we need to make private as data members, why we need to make member functions as a public. So because of security reasons, we can't expose data members outside. So why? Because either by using setters and getters, means by using member functions only we can update these data members values by using member functions. That's why we can restrict it. We can't expose data members outside of the class directly. By using setters and getters only we can update it. That's why always make data members as a private. And moreover that class you can make anything, a public class depending on your requirement. Yesterday I already explained about, right, what are the access modifiers applicable for outer classes, and moreover that how many public classes we can write in one source file. When to use, class name, corresponding class name dot java. If there is a public class, we must unsave public class name dot java. If there is no public class, you can save some xyz name dot java also, no problem. So we can make it as a always, depending on your requirement, you can make it as a public or abstract or final. These are the three access modifiers applicable for outer classes, right? Either it may be public or abstract or final. Depending on our requirement, you can make it. So let me discuss about that. Now I hope we got full clarity on data. What is encapsulation? Why we need to make data members as public, and why we need to make member functions as a, data members are a private and member functions are as public. Now let me try to discuss about all these things. Four important access modifiers in Java. So let me list out them one by one, then I will explain it. So one of the, top four access modifiers in Java. So one is public, second one is private, third one is default, protected. Order is not important, any order, protected, and fourth one is default, and nothing but there is no default, but we can ignore. If I can remove this public, now employee class is default member, default. So these are the most, important access modifiers in Java. So public is nothing but you can access anywhere in the project. Within the project you can access anywhere, means any package you can access directly. So anywhere, anywhere in the project you can access, anywhere in the project, anywhere in the project you can access all public members, either it may be class or variable or method, you can access anywhere in the project. Different packages we have, right? So in that case, different all packages you can access it. Private is nothing but you can access within the class only, within class. So here data member, employee name is private type. So I can't access this employee name outside of class. Inside this class only I can, this employee name scope is from here to here. So within this employee class scope I can access it. Outside of this employee class I can't access. Why? Because this is private. Access modifier is for employee name is private. That's why you can access within the class, within class. Protected is nothing but same package, package level access, same package, and subclasses. Subclass is nothing but when you are, when I'm trying to explain about inheritance, you will get subclass means subclass in another packages. So if we have, this is the one root, project we can consider, this is the root folder. So under this root folder number of packages are there. So if we can make it as a public, you can imagine package 1, 2, 3, 4. If it is public, I can access all these 4 packages, that public property. Private means within the class. Protected means within the package, and moreover that in another packages subclasses, child classes. And default means within the package, within package. These are the most important, access modifiers in Java. Public anywhere in the project, private within the class, protected same package and subclasses in another package, default within the package. So these are the, you need to remember when to use which one. Depending on your requirement, you can declare it. So I hope you got full clarity. What is encapsulation, and moreover that what are the access modifiers available in Java, and why we need to make data members as a private? Because of security reasons, we can't expose outside directly. By using public and public setters getters, we can expose it to update the employee name and employees, data members you can update by using public member functions. So this is about encapsulation, and moreover that I need to explain about one more concept, that is constructor. So how we can set this data, either by using setters and getters and by using constructor also. Now let me try to explain about that constructor as well. So why? Because anyway I am explaining the encapsulation is nothing but entity only, right? Data members and member functions put it in one entity. So that constructor is part of this entity only. So let me try to explain about that constructor as well. So we can write anywhere in the constructor, we can write at anywhere within that class, no problem. Let me try to write at the end. So constructor. So constructor is nothing but special type of that is also special type of method, but that will be executed when you are trying to create object. So let me try to write what is constructor definition. So constructor, so constructor is nothing but a special type of method that will be executed when we create object. We can't call that constructor, but when we create object, constructor will be invoked. When we create object, constructor will be executed. That is the one point you need to remember. What is the constructor? Constructor is a special type of method that will be executed when we are creating object for specific class. So at the time at the time of object creation, constructor will be executed. What is the rule for constructor? So what are the rules? Constructor name must and should same with class name. So constructor have name of class name. Constructor name is same as class name. Constructor name is same as class name. This is the one point you need to remember. Constructor name is same as class name. And what are the access modifiers applicable for constructor? All these four. Public, I can make it as a constructor as a public, and a private, and a protected, and default. All these four access modifiers applicable for constructor. Now let me try to create constructor. So first rule, constructor name is same as class name. What is the class name here? Employee, right? Let me show you the class name. So employee, same name I can use. If I can use other than class name, JVM will treat like it as a separate method, not a constructor. So constructor is nothing but name is same as class name. So employee, employee, open brace, closed brace, open curly brace, closed curly brace. So access modifiers, any one of the four. Either it may be private constructor, public constructor, protected or default, depending on your requirement you can make it. Let me make it as a public. Now this public employee constructor I can access anywhere in the project, any packages. So this is called default constructor. Default constructor. So I am not providing any properties, right? Either it may be employee name, employee id, employee salary. So this is called default constructor. We have two types of constructors. So employee, default constructor, parameterized constructor. So parameterized constructor is nothing but employee. I can pass some properties like string string name and salary, number of properties, string name and integer employee id and double salary. These kind of properties I can pass, and I can assign that all these properties to previously I declared private data data members, right? These values I can assign all those values by accessing this keyword, this dot employee id equal to employee id, whichever coming from here. So I will explain in detail when I'm explaining about example in sts, i mean um, sts4. I will explain in detail what is parameterized constructor, what is default constructor. So constructors are used, what is the main purpose of constructor? Constructors are used to initialize the instance variables. So instance variable is nothing but here, these are the data members only. So here you declared only, but values will be we can assign by using constructor. So here employee name don't have value. So once I create object by using constructor, so at the time of parameterized constructor, initialization, that value will be assigned to these instance variables. So that is the main purpose. Let me write that point on here under constructors. So what is the main purpose of constructor? So to initialize the instance variables. To initialize instance variable. instance variables. So what is constructor? Constructor is nothing but a special type of function that can be executed when we create the object. So constructor name and class name is same. This is the first point you need to remember when we are talking about constructor. And moreover that, what are the access modifiers applicable for constructor? Public, private, protected, default. If it is public, we can access anywhere, I mean within the project. Private, within the class. Protected, within the package, and child classes in another package. Default, within the package. To initialize I mean why we need to use constructor? To initialize instance variables. Now I think I hope you got full clarity. I mean, what is encapsulation, data members, member functions, constructors. I mean top four access modifiers: public, private, protected, default. Now let me try to explain all these examples inside that, I mean STS4 IDE. Now let me try to explain about encapsulation with an example in STS4. So for this I already created, I mean encapsulation example.java with some info. So encapsulation is nothing but data members and member functions, put it in one entity. I mean definition about encapsulation. So example for encapsulation is any class we can consider. Best example for, I mean class is the best example for encapsulation. And moreover that, to understand encapsulation in depth, so we need to aware of, I mean following access modifiers. I mean inside class we can create variables, methods, constructors. So we can create, I mean all those variables, methods, constructor by using these four access modifiers. These are the most important access modifiers for encapsulation. I mean inside the class only we can any type, I mean variable we can declare it as a public, private, protected, default. Moreover that, scope about each access modifier. I mean public means anywhere within the project we can access it. Private means within the class only. Means if we can create variable is private, you can't access outside. Within the class only you can access it. The variable name is protected or method name is protected, you can access within the package, and child classes in another packages, and default is within the package. So these are the access modifiers, I mean you need to aware to become master in encapsulation. Now let me try to write an example. So for that, I already created one entity class, I mean employee. This is the public class. So now let me try to create some data members and member functions, means variables and setters getters method. Now most of the time all data members, I mean variables inside entity class, we can create it as a private access modifier. Why? Because we can't access, I mean expose outside. Why? Because with some security restrictions, by using setters and getters only we can update that variable values. So private int employee id, empid, and the next one is private string emp name, and one more attribute I am trying to provide, double emp cell, and fourth one is I am trying to declare private local date. I mean by I am trying to provide variable name, I mean variable is date of join, emp date of join. These are the data members. So moreover that, these data members we can access within the curly brace, I mean within the class only. Why? Because all these are the private. Then how we can initialize the values, how we can access the values from this employee class? By using either it may be constructor or by using setters and getters. Now let me try to create all those, I mean setters and getters along with constructor. Now let me try to create setters and getters for this four attributes. So I am using shortcut in STS4. Alt Shift S R is shortcut key for setters and getters. Select all, click on generate. So it will save our time. I mean instead of creating this many number of lines from 14 to 37, in one, in one shortcut we will get both setters and getter for each and every attribute. So from we have option in records, to avoid this kind of verbosity. But anyway, we are at, I am explaining about beginning, right? Encapsulation, more of that classes and objects, this kind of stuff, right? When I'm explaining about Java features, about Java 15, 17, these kind of features, I will explain about records also. So we can avoid all the setters and getters, this kind of, in one line only we can achieve, this entity class. But anyway, focus on, encapsulation. So encapsulation is nothing but data members, member functions, put it in one entity, that is employee, is called as encapsulation. Now how I can assign values, to these variables, either by using setters and getters or by using constructor. Now let me try to create constructor. So if we did not provide constructor, JVM will provide default constructor. So if you want to parameterize the constructor, so you can create it, JVM won't provide. If there is no constructor, then only JVM will provide default constructor. Now let me try to create default and parameterized constructor. So for that, shortcut key is Alt Shift S O. This is the shortcut key for creating constructor. First I am trying to create parameterized constructor, then I am trying to create Alt Shift S O. Deselect all. This is the default constructor, and below one is, this is the parameterized constructor. This is the perfect example for encapsulation. So data members, member functions, put it in one entity. So moreover that, I explained about constructor also in whiteboard. So constructor is nothing but same as, constructor name is similar to class name. So what are the access modifiers applicable for constructor? Public, private, protected, default. These four only. And moreover that, what is the use of constructor? To initialize the instance variables. These are the instance variables, right? So how I can initialize at the time of creating object for employee class, when you are trying to provide values, these are the local variables, right? From these local variables I am trying to assign these instance variables. So moreover that, why it is, here I am trying to provide this means. So if local variable name, instance variable name, both, both are same, in that case accessing instance variable, we can use this dot empid. This refers to empid. This is the local variable name. So local variable name, value, local variable value, I am trying to assign instance variable by using this. This is about constructor. So constructor name is similar to class name. Constructors are used to initialize instance variables. And what are the access modifiers for constructors? Public, private, protected. These are the three important points you need to remember about constructor. Now let me try to create object for this employee class. So in project we can't write all in one .java file. Maybe all entity classes we can create it as a separate Java file. Then we can use that, object creation is happens in another Java file also. So that's why I am trying to create, I created employee Java file, a encapsulation example, employee entity is a separate Java file, and I am trying to create object inside encapsulation example.java. Why? Because I can access it. This is the public class. So what is the access modifiers applicable for outer classes? Only public, abstract, final. If I can replace this private, I will get compilation error. Anyway, these details I already explained about object oriented programming principles introduction video also. Private. So here you are seeing only applicable modifiers are public, abstract, final. So we can't create private outer classes. So if it is public class, I already explained. Public access modifier is applicable. If you declare class as public, you can access anywhere in the project. That's why I'm trying to access inside here also. Let me try to create object for employee class. So employee. So first I will initialize with constructor, then employee one object. I will then I will explain about setters and getters also. I will set value. So employee one This is the reference name. And moreover that, how to create object for any class by using new keyword we can create. So next, after new assignment operator, after new we need to use constructor employee. So by using parameterized constructor, we can pass values. So here, this is the parameterized constructor expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 values. So need to provide in same order. So first one is either it may be default. Here it is default constructor also is there, right? I mean zero argument parameter. That's why I did not get any compilation error. So parameterized constructor also there. Now I am trying to provide values like employee ID, employee name, employee salary, and employee joining date. I am trying to provide, I mean today's date only by using local date dot now. So anyway, date attribute you can provide. So this is the object creation process. So by using new keyword, we can create object for any class with the class name. I mean class name is nothing but here constructor and corresponding values. That for this object reference is emp1 of type employee. So now if I can print the value of emp1, can you guess what is the output? So if you watch previous video, I mean object oriented programming principles introduction, I already explained. So if you are, when you are trying to print any object reference, if that corresponding class not implemented toString method, then object class toString method will be executed. Object class toString method implementation is logic like fully qualified class name at the date hexadecimal hash code. Now let me try to print the, run the code, then observe the output. So it will print like oops employee at the date hexadecimal hash code. So fully qualified class name means along with package class name at the date hexadecimal hash code. Why? Because in employee class toString method is not there. Then object class toString method will be executed. So what is the implementation of object class toString method? Fully qualified class name at the date hexadecimal hash code. Now to print the, I mean proper meaningful information about employee object, we need to override toString method in employee entity. For that shortcut key I am trying to use Alt Shift S S. This is the shortcut key for implementing toString method generated. Now if I can print employee object reference, I will get the data, I mean like meaningful data, employee ID corresponding ID, name corresponding name, like this. Now let me try to run the code. See here, now I am getting some meaningful information. Employee ID is 1, employee name is Varun, employee salary, employee joining date. So this is about, I mean toString method you need to remember. Next one is, let me try to explain about, setters and getters also. So here I am trying to provide the values by using parameterized constructor. So this is one approach. One more approach also will be there. So instead of this, I can set the data, I mean for the employee object, any employee object by using setters and getters also. Moreover that, if I can update also, I can do it. Now let me try to update the data, I mean data about employee 1 by using setters and getters. So this is the employee object. Now I am trying to update the employee salary. For that, first I am trying to, I need to use employee object reference dot set. These are the four, setter methods available inside employee class. Set, I want to update employee salary. So previously it will be 25, now I can update with 35. Now let me try to observe the output after updating. What is the salary for employee Varun? So employee salary is updated, right, by using setters method. What is the use of setter method? I mean we can update the existing values by using setters, and moreover that we can set the data. Instead of initializing values with parameterized constructor, we can initialize it by using setters and getters also. Now let me try to create empty, default constructor object, then try to set the values. employee emp to new employee of empty values. This is the default constructor. So by using this, I can create the values. For this employee object, I can set the values, all these values. Employee to dot set employee id as 2. Now again employee object to dot set employee name, and third attribute is employee object to dot set emp salary, and last attribute employee to dot emp set emp date of joining, local date dot now. Now let me try to print the employee to object emp2. So if we can observe, I have three employee objects. Anyway, first one is update, and first one I am trying to, once the created employee object is created by using parameterized constructor, I am able to print it. After that, I am trying to update the employee salary by using setter method set emp salary. After updating employee object, the salary is 35. And moreover that second employee object. So I am trying to set the values for employee object by using setters instead of parameterized constructor. So now third object is looking like employee ID is to employee name, salary, corresponding date of joining. So this is about, explanation about encapsulation. I hope you got full clarity on encapsulation. So either we can assign, assign values to encapsulation, entity class variables by using parameterized constructor or by using setters and getters. And moreover that, if you are trying to update, you can update by using setters. So I hope you got full clarity. So if any content I mixed from encapsulation concept, make a comment in comment section. I will make one more video on that mixed concept. So if you like the content, hit on like button and subscribe Programming KT. Thanks for watching.